Racing is a skill. Each lap you make thousands of decisions. When to brake, how much to turn, when to accelerate, when to change gear. The final lap time is the sum of all your choices, and the clock is the ultimate judge of your abilities. You have to be precise, spotting your braking markers, smoothly putting down the power, and being surgical in your overtakes. Yep, we're still crashing. Alright, forget everything I just said. From here on in, this is a crash video. What we have for you today is 11 cars from the 11 best racing games out there. What are we going to do with these cars? What any kid does with a toy car. We're going to smash it against a wall and see what happens. Let's kick this off with a game so old it was made when putting the letter I in front of things was cool. iRacing. We are in the Audi R8 and test number 1 is a gentle 50 km/h kiss of the Nürburgring wall. Well, that was dramatic. Let's see what the damage is. It'll buff out. It's hardly a scratch. I think we need to double the speed. Here's the same impact at 100 km/h. Hey, a magic disappearing bonnet. There are magicians who'll be proud of that one. Yeah, it's a little wonky looking, but let's see how it drives. It has a little pull to the left under braking and just in general, but otherwise it's fine. Let's step this up a gear. This is 200 km/h straight into a wall. Oof, that's a big one. Gotta give props to the builders of that wall. Great job, there's not a mark on it. And for the car, that matter, it isn't looking too bad either. The bonnet did its little disappearing trick again, but everything else is pretty much fine. What's more, this car can still race. It pulls a little to the left again, but if you can live with that, this is a pristine race car. We have one more test for this ultra-realistic, invincible car simulator. The tyre test. With ABS off, we got up to top speed and slammed on the brakes. We were looking for flat spots and tyre wear. We did this over, and over, and over, and over, and you get the point. But in the end, we could only do a measly 3% damage to our tyres. And I don't know about you, but next time I'm tyre shopping, I'm looking for iRacing brand tyres. Damn invincible. Next up, we have the Xbox champion Forza 7 cruising in at 50 km/h straight into the wall. Yeah, that did nothing. Literally nothing. Let's kick this up a gear and bring it in at 100. Oh no, that's more like it. Kind of. We get a flash of damage messages on the side of the screen, but again we have a pristine looking car. We do have some internal damage though when the car pulls to the left under braking, so you know, baby steps. Coming in at 200 sees a lot more messages and a cool spin, and hey, look at that. The front splitter is a tiny little bit bent. Completely what you would expect from a 200 km/h impact with the wall. The car still drives fine though, just a little pull to the right, and given of what I've seen of Forza online, this is definitely a good thing. Onto tyres, and when we slam on the brakes at over 200 we get a little tyre heat, but that's about it. But what happens if we smoke the rears into complete oblivion? Sadly not much. They don't burst, they just lose all grip, which is better than nothing I suppose, but it's not going to oust our current damage champ, iRacing. Our next challenger is a big simulation heavy hitter, Assetto Corsa Competizione, which I'm just going to call ACC because that's so much easier.
We've got some light damage on the front of the car.
Light damage, huh? Well, we have some scratches and the bonnets have popped a little. Still drives fine though. Double the speed and now we have severe damage on the fronts.
We've got some severe damage on the front of the car.
Let's see what severe damage looks like. Looks a lot like light damage, but with the bonnet popped up just a bit more. Still drives fine though, just like before, apart from the bonnet taking up a large chunk of our view. Let's go full bore.
Some severe damage at the front of the car. Box is flat, we have to repair the car.
Same severe damage front then. Guess once you call something severe, there isn't really anywhere you can go. Visually, not much has changed. Driving though. Well now, let's call this a victory for sim racing because for the first time we were able to destroy a car just by crashing it. That's progress. We can turn the wheel as much as we want. We aren't getting around the track without measuring our lap times with a calendar. But we aren't finished with ACC just yet. Nice little puff of smoke as we screech to a stop. That's gotta leave a mark on the tyres. And look at that. You can see the flat spot visibly through the shake through the wheel and the whole car. That's a beautiful thing to see. But what if we keep going? That is so satisfying. The flat-spotted tyres caught on the same spot and wore through the canvas till they both just popped. Now that's what we want to see, and it's pretty safe to say we have a new damage champion, ACC. This is Automobilista 2, which begs the question. There was an Automobilista 1. But never mind that, this is an AMG GT3 and approaching at about 50 km per hour is a wall. Well, it's not the worst result we've had from the 50 km per hour impact, and it's resulted in the usual bent bit of steering, but otherwise the car's fine. Let's double the speed. Nice bounce up as we impact the wall there, and the car's a little bit shorter than it was before, but as is usual for these low speeds, the car's a little bit wobbly, but it races fine. 200 it is. That's a much bigger impact. Visually though, not much has changed. When driving, the crumpled bonnet is taking up a bit of the view, but just get a look at that steering angle. That's all sorts of bent. But again, if you can live with that, then you can complete a race no problem. I'm starting to wonder about these snowflake racing drivers who abandon their cars after minor 200 km per hour impacts into walls. As for braking and tyres, it's a usual lack of flat spots and invincible tyres. All of which means to say, ACC remains at the top. Well, with an in-car view like that, how could this be anything other than rFactor 2? The game I paid full price for at launch, then had to pay full price for again when the developers decided to change the way you access the game. Not that I'm bitter about that though, not at all. Here we are coming in at 50. Riveting stuff. Wow. Okay, 100 then. Yeah, that's literally all that happens. Let's check the replay. It doesn't seem like there's any damage, but I can't tell either because the car is dead. It's game over from there. Moving on. Let's see if anything changes at 200 then. Don't know about you, but the way the car just comes to a dead stop I find hilarious. Still not seeing any evidence of damage though, at least visual damage. Let's see if we can change that. There we go, look at that. It's missing a wheel and all. Though somehow the wheel came off while the rest of the car is completely fine. Let's just call this damage model a work in progress. I mean, we have to give them time. They've only been working on this game for 1.5 decades. Onto tyre wear and flat spots now, and you know the story. No amount of slamming on the brakes can cause flat spots, and the tyres are invincible to certain types of damage. ACC remains the champ. Project Cars 2 steps up to the plate, but I know what you're thinking. Project Cars 3 is out. Yes it is. Anyway, it's the usual story, into the wall at 50. And the usual result, a little damage to the front, but nothing else. At 100, things are a little more interesting. There is visual damage to the front and windshield, and of course the go-to damage model of developers makes an appearance. Bent steering. It makes the car a little tricky, but it's still raceable. Impacting at 200 throws the car into an awesome spin, but we've got bigger issues. Spiders have infested the car and put cobwebs all over the windshield, and I don't know the button for the wipers. What's more, bent steering makes the driving really tricky. The car is dancing about all over the place under braking. As for the tyres, it's like all developers copy from exactly the same playbook. There is the same satisfying lockup and smoke, but no flat spots or punches to be found here. The champ remains. Alright, let's throw a curveball. Nobody said we need to stick to tarmac. Meet Dirt 2.0, the current king of serious rally games. Crashing and rally go hand in hand, so let's see what Dirt 2.0 offers, at least at 50 km per hour. Gotta say, I'm disappointed with that one. It's about the same as in all other racing games. Same loose bodywork and not much else all. Let's see what doubling the speed can bring to the table. Yeah, now we're talking. Turning it up to 100 did the trick. Look at that bent bodywork and take a look at all that smoke. That's more smoke than one of my mates' barbecues. We're still able to drive away though, so time to turn it up to max.
Right. 60.
As you can see, this car's going nowhere. We didn't quite make 200 km per hour, but we did get this beautiful slow-mo as a reward. Just beautiful stuff. And finally we have a car that's just going nowhere. It's dead. But it'd be a shame to leave it there. What is this damage model really capable of? There's only one way to find out. There goes the front left. And with this, we've killed it. Nice. We still need to check the tyres for destruction through wear, and for that we did a lot of circle work before deciding. Nope. We can smash off a tyre, but we're not going to do anything to harm them via tyre wear. So where does that leave us? With ACC the reigning champ. Stepping into the ring comes the great blue hope, Gran Turismo Sport. Arriving in at 50 km per hour and filmed by the drunkest cameraman who just can't find the focus, it's a pathetic little hit as we have come to expect from the first 50 km per hour runs. As for damage, it's possible there's a scratch there if you look hard enough, but my sight certainly isn't good enough to find it. It does pull a little bit to the left after, but nothing major. At 100 km per hour we are watching the same thing just in fast forward. Same drunk cameraman, but we have some visual damage now. Same story driving also. The car pulls to the right and the wheel shakes a bit when turning. 200 then, and I have to say all we have done is bounced a little higher. The damage might even be better on the 100 km per hour impact, and as you can see, the car drives fine even if I can't find the apex. All that is left for GTS is tyre damage. The car locks up very nicely, just like in ACC, but apart from some brief hotspots on the tyres, not much else is happening, and we certainly can't get a flat spot or really damage the tyres by locking up. Let's do some circle work then. After exactly 1 billion years of steering right with the accelerator pinned, the rears are gone, and have been replaced with ice. I don't think it needs to be said. The champ remains. What about open wheelers then? You can't breathe on those cars with that bits flying off, so let's throw an F1 car against the wall in F1 2020. And bits indeed did fly. And yeah, I'd call that a lot of wing damage. The impact on the driving is pretty obvious. Total loss of downforce on the front is making me run wide everywhere and lock up, though that is my usual style. But in this case, I'm pretty sure it's the wing. Let's go with that and throw this one into the wall at double the speed. Well, that looks identical to me. And we have identical damage with entirely predictable identical impact on driving. It's double or nothing. Time for 200 kilometers per hour.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
Well, I didn't expect that one. Again, it's identical damage, but they aren't going to let me play with their nice F1 car anymore. I get the feeling though that these front impacts aren't showing off the game at its best. Let's fix that. You might notice some strangeness with the right rear tyre. After some creative driving, it has a puncher, and we're just about to throw it into the wall to see what this damage model can do. And look at that, bits flying everywhere, the wheel comes off, this guy plows into us, but the replay stops. However, you can see what this damage model does. It's pretty cool. Let's see if this translates into tyre damage. Man, those brakes are weak. Let's try again. A little better, but no flat spots and not much in the way of tyre wear considering how we're treating them. Let's treat them worse then. This is 100% tyre wear, we even have the nasty exclamation marks to prove it. And take a look at that, you can watch the tyre pop in real time, that's awesome. Check out the lower left corner, you can see the exact moment the tyre wear hits 100% and the tyre pops. It's really cool stuff. But cool enough to knock ACC off its mantle? Yeah, I don't think so. Something needs to be done. And if you want something right, you call it professional.
Rear right is punctured. The rear right tyre has a puncture. Puncture, puncture, box now.
This is Wreckfest, and that right there is a wall. The problem with this game is that the cars are bangers. They're beaten up to begin with, and also strengthened. But it looks pretty bent out of shape from that impact. To tell the truth, I think the wall came off second best. That looks like it hurts. And again, that wall has just been savaged. In fact, I think we've taken a piece as a trophy. Let's see if we can get rid of it. Nice. At this stage, the car is driving fine. I don't know how, but it is. 200 it is then. Or 166. There's only so much power this car has. Ugh, savage. What an impact. Man, you can really feel it. And I think we've left half our car by the barrier just there. And where did the front wheel go? That engine though, still in one piece along with the gearbox. It's not destroyed yet. So let's take it for a spin. Well, technically this car does drive, but I don't think we can call it raceable. So a win for the 200 km/h impact there. As a race car, this car is dead. So it's a win for visual damage, but does Wreckfest account for tyre damage? No, not if the wheels are still attached to the car anyway. Does it beat ACC? It's a tough call and it comes down to this. Does a better mechanical and visual damage model make up for the lack of tyre damage? Nah, it doesn't. So, ACC is the winner, right? Best damage model of all? That is what you expect me to say. And I also know what you're going to be mashing into your keyboard right now if I do. BeamNG. Well, smart guy, here's BeamNG, the final challenger heading into the wall at 50 km/h. Well, that's a little more eventful than I was expecting. The back coming up really high. But what's the damage? That looks fair for a low speed. We've got the exhaust ripped off and all. Somehow, still drives fine. We're coming in hot at 100. Ugh, man, I can feel that one. Bonnet is crumpled up like a chip packet, and what's more, the front wheels are pushed up into the engine bay just a little bit. We've ended up beached. Look at the bits off the car everywhere. I think we can call it car destroyed at 100. Onto the 200 run, and we can't quite get there without damaging the car over the bumps, but we are going to hit it at about 170, and man, I think we jumped straight into that wall. Even the roll cage is crushed. There are car organs spilt all over the pavement. It's just a horror show. Needless to say, we aren't driving this one anywhere. And with that smashing success, let's test tyre damage by making the car dry hump the road. And don't ask me what's going on with that front tyre. It looks like the Matrix is attacking it. Yeah, no time for that now though, because the engine is making more smoke than the rear wheels. In a beautiful touch of realism, we have cooked the engine by revving the hell out of it while going nowhere. Everything's kicking off. There is smoke coming from everywhere, and our rear brakes are screaming from the torture of doing a line lock without actually having a line lock installed. And then we're dead. You know, it had a good run. Can't complain. So, does BeamNG take the crown? It has no tyre flat spots, and as far as I can tell, no tyre wear at all. Can it still be king? Of course it can. We have a winner. For now. BeamNG.